entrepreneur, you are at the right place. Today we have with us Miss Karuna Jerome. Welcome, ma'am. She runs a store which is known by the name Be Thoughtful, a faith enterprise. The store is one of its kind. It has a gift shop. It also runs a cafe. It also has a space where it conducts workshops for young children and adults. It also has a design studio where you can get your gifts customized and personalized. So ma'am, my first question to you would be, how did you come across this unique business idea?
Well, actually, I was in college when I thought of it. I wouldn't think of it as a business idea, but it was more something that was born out of a passion. I enjoyed design and art and writing, and I actually kept thinking about what I wanted to do with my future. And I was in my first year at college, and I think one of the questions that I actually prayed about was, I asked God, what did you make me for? One of the main things that came through was that I should use my gifts to bless, encourage and inspire people. So that's how I thought the idea that, the gifting that I had was art, design and writing. I combined the two and had the first product, which was bookmarks, and the professor at college saw it, and then said, well, we set up a store, and that's how the whole idea of just using my gifting turned into a business idea.
Which means you begin this entire journey at a very early stage. So since you began this journey as a student, so which definitely means you would have come across some challenges, few struggles. So if you could explain us something.
Well, I think the challenge is to just have the ability to persevere, to stay focused. I think when I started out, I started with whatever little I knew, and it kept growing over time. And to be honest, I didn't see them as challenges, but just opportunities to learn and kind of something to cross, like a test that you step across and get to the next level, even in business or in just facing life.
So to sum it up, you could say it as you had a very positive attitude towards whatever was coming across you. You took it in a very positive way, and you kept on.
Yes.
Okay. So again, since you're an entrepreneur, and also we can see that a lot of Indian startups which couldn't function well, and one of the major reasons is either it didn't have a strategy to differentiate itself from the competitor, or you could say it didn't have enough money to run its operations. So funding is a very important thing. So what about that?
Well, since I started in college, I started with minimum, and I think with literally bare minimum, and I think that's the best thing ever. I remember one of the things that I clearly remember from my course at business school was that there are more startups that die out of indigestion than starvation. So it's better to have a little. You learn the difficult way to survive, to multiply the little that you have, than having an abundance of fund. I think we look at funding as the main thing, and that is not. Funding is just a means to fulfill what you're aiming to do. So if you can do it with a little, you'll be able to do it with more. And then again, there will be times where you may not have surplus, and that you know how to survive with even a little. So I think the key is that if you have an idea, if you have an intent, start with whatever you have.
So that's the message. Now, another thing, since I'm a student and I have a subject called entrepreneur development, so we keep hearing about entrepreneurs and also businessmen. And from an entrepreneur, like from an experience of an entrepreneur, how would you want to differentiate the two?
Well, I wouldn't want to generalize, because there are a lot of businessmen who are entrepreneurs at heart, a lot of entrepreneurs who can turn into businessmen, and I wouldn't say one is positive or negative, but primarily I think the way we see entrepreneurs are people who really start their work or birth an idea or birth a business out of a passion that is probably personal. I mean, ideally that's how it starts. It's personal to them, and then there are others who come along and buy the idea, buy into the dream, the vision. A businessman could probably be driven by profits alone or different other measures of success, which may not be wrong.
Because at the end of the day, it's money that keeps you going. So
yes,
the money and the profit.
Yes. And I think one of the things that I learned early on from someone was that they said money is not the measure of success, money is the measure of efficiency. You can make $1 million and spend a double of that, or you can make a little but efficiently run your business. So money is a measure of how efficiently you run it, and not a definition of success, but success is really fulfilling the purpose why you started working.
So since you're a woman entrepreneur and we all are aware about the fact that gender bias is deep rooted in our society, and to some extent it limits the growth of every woman entrepreneur in our society. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, that is true. There is gender bias, and I think it's real in not just in business, in every area. But at the same time, there's also a lot of people out there who are not biased. So I think one thing is to focus on the positive, focus on the areas that works for you, that where people treat you maybe as equal or don't differentiate. And the occasional instances which are very true, very real, that there is a gender bias, don't let that cloud everything else, because I'll paint the whole world bad and play victim or not play victim, be a
But
victim
people
to
often
it.
see it as like women can run business, but like maybe after some time, once they get settled in life, their priorities change. But it should be the same with men as well.
That's true. And also this word, I think being settled is not necessarily the way the world defines it. Being settled could be different to different people, right? And I think running a business, a woman brings in a very different flavor into an enterprise, into the business world. And there are times when personally I've had people come and say, so who's your business partner, or where is he? And I know where the question is leading to, and then they're surprising, not bad, And it's okay. The thing is not to get offended, and to just let go of this gender bias in our own minds, because that's the best way to tackle it. And once people start seeing that, they realize that okay, she's confident in who she is, and they start accepting that.
So just keep yourself and positive
And focus on all the good things.
focus on the good things, right? So if a college student wants to become an entrepreneur, set up his own business, so what are the things that you would want to tell that person?
Well, I think one of the main things I would say is figure out what you enjoy doing, figure out what you are passionate about, figure out understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and all of that makes you who you are and brings in that flavor into your enterprise. And so it's good to learn from others, read about. One thing that I did was I read about different business stories that inspired me, motivated me, but I would say I was very clear, don't copy it, because each one's journey is different and it's based on your strength. So when you kind of birth an enterprise based on your uniqueness, it doesn't matter if there's something similar, there's competition, it will never be identical. So you learn from others' successes, others' mistakes, and you will make your own mistakes, you make your own journey of success, but you focus on what you're passionate about, what's the thing that moves your heart, what's the thing that stirs you, and that's one of the big keys to figuring out what to do in this start.
So when you set your journey as an entrepreneur, so throughout this journey, which was that one moment when you actually felt like, yes, I have achieved something, that achievement feeling?
I think there have been multiple moments. I think the
Few which you would recall, like all of this.
actually the first one would be in college when I had the first stall with bookmarks, and the main idea was to three words: to bless, encourage, and inspire. And I remember seeing classmates, students from different fields who came in to look at the bookmarks, and they would look and kind of nudge each other and say, that one's for you, this one's for you, and some would come back and say, this really encouraged me. And when I saw the intent of the business,
So you had messages on each bookmark.
Same if you just said dream big, stay strong, or something funny.
Simple,
Yeah, very simple. But I knew different people connected to different things for themselves or for others. So when I saw the intent of the business being fulfilled right before my eyes, that itself. So starting from then till even now, when each time I see someone connect with a product or even in a workshop or with a design, that's the
So how important is networking in an entrepreneur's life?
So personally for me, since I didn't step out the aggressive way being an entrepreneur, the word networking kind of intimidated me, because I felt networking meant meeting people with an agenda, what do I get from them, what can I, what's beneficial. So to me it was more about building relationships without that kind of intent. And if I met people or potential vendors or even friends, it's good to go, to meet people being genuine, not in the way sometimes we see networking defined it. We attend an event because we want
Exactly.
to get something out of it.
Yeah.
For me personally, that's not something I did, and I don't regret it. But I've built an incredible number of very genuine relationships, whether it's with vendors, manufacturers, suppliers, with customers who have been with me from the time I was a student till now. And it's just really doing life together and seeing where you can give into someone's life. Yeah, it works both ways, but not really attending events or anything with that. Because that's not something I do.
That was your way of this. So finally, what would be the message or any sort of advice that you would want to give to the budding entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think like I said before, one is figure out the one thing that really makes you happy, the thing that you're passionate about, and then there will be days when it's down, and then there will be days when it's really good, and on both days, go back to the question of why you're doing what you're doing. That maybe I think one thing is if you're able to answer the question why, and you have that answer, keep going back to that on every other day and saying, okay, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that will
Like
make you
finding a reason.
yes, knowing the reason, the intent behind why you do what you do, and stay true to that.
So ma'am, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us.